Hey there, Prog Noggins. Welcome to Bleeding Edge, No BS Reactions. I am Dave. Thank you so much for joining me. So this time around, definitely going very hot off the presses new music because I'm very excited for this. One of my favorite artists out there, favorite bands out there in the world of prog is absolutely Haken. If you look back in the past catalog of Bleeding Edge interviews, you're going to find out I have spoken to many of those guys on several occasions, especially Charlie Griffiths and Ross Jennings. And, boy, I hope to get to meet them in person someday. That would be awesome just to say hi, shake their hands. But, it's a band I am very, very familiar with and have followed for quite a while, and I really enjoy their work. It's been 3 years since Fauna came out, and to me, that was an absolutely amazing album and a classic in the genre. And so I'm excited now to see something new from them at this point in time. Obviously, I'm sad that Charlie Griffiths and Connor Green have moved on to other things and are no longer part of the band. I know for the time being, at least, the band is a quartet. And as I understand on this song, Brian Beller, who can be everywhere, but is often best known for The Aristocrats, where he plays with Marco Miniman and Guthrie Govan. Pardon me there, I was almost tripping up the names. For some reason, I guess everybody in the band needs to have an alliterative name. It's all cool. So anyway, he is one of the great session bassists and multi-talented guys that gets around and plays with everybody when he gets a chance. You see him all over. So he's a great addition to help them bring in some bass for this particular song. And the new song is In a Fever Dream. And I'm very curious to see what they've got for us at this point in time. I've wondered if the departure of Charlie and Connor signified a potential overall change in the band's sound. Are they going in a different direction that maybe Charlie and Connor didn't feel was the direction they wanted to go? Would they get more metal, more proggy, less proggy? I know Ross gets around and does all kinds of things as well. He is, as a guest vocalist, almost ubiquitous. And of course, he's got his project with Nick DiVirgilio and Neil Morse, which is pretty much a vocal folk pop band kind of thing, or almost vocal folk. With at times the sound, the voices mesh on a level with like Crosby, Stills, and Nash. It's really, really impressive stuff. If you've not checked out DiVirgilio, Morse, and Jennings, go do that. It is two really good, solid albums they put out. Meanwhile, let's check out what Haken's got for us now. Again, the song is called In a Fever Dream. And I wonder if there's any information here about the potential new album. I think I looked for that, and I didn't see it named yet. We got lyrics. That's nice. So I don't think a new album title or upcoming release date has yet been announced. This may be similar to what they did 3-4 years ago at this point in time with Nightingale, which came out sort of on its own as a teaser when Peter rejoined the band. And it was about 6 months before the new album came out, maybe a little bit longer. So we could be waiting a little while. It may not be this year. I hope it is. But let's find out. If they're teasing us, that's all right. Let's check it out. So In a Fever Dream, and it's a longer song, 7 minutes, 14 seconds. Buckle up. So far, it does sound like that it's going to change stylistically a little bit here, just as I paused. Anybody else getting a bit of a Steven Wilson Porcupine Tree vibe here? It gives me that sense a little bit there. It's, a nicely atmospheric, a bit of a guitar picking, strumming, not strumming. I'm not sure what to call it. I almost want to call arpeggio, but it's a very slow one if it is. So that may be, that's my ignorance in terms of how to describe guitar playing techniques. So don't hold that against me. I'm a drummer. What do I know? But I like that, just the slowly played guitar, a bit moody, nice atmosphere, a little bit of reverb in there. Very quiet start. I wonder where it's going to go. Like Interesting. It continues for me. Less Porcupine Tree, more Steven Wilson vibe up to this point in time. They're continuing with the moodiness, continuing with the guitar line as it was played, adding in some keyboard layers, cycling notes within the keyboards, and some syncopated drums in there with a little bit of an electronic flavor to them, which is interesting. I'm trying to think of, I'm sure he's probably trying to think of when Ray has last used that kind of thing. But it's definitely interesting and has a little bit of an electronic flavor to it. So again, kind of gone down that road that Steven Wilson has traveled off and on over the last several years. But I like it's there's also a slow build to it. There's a slight increase of the tension as the layers are added and as the things cycle. So I'm wondering if things are going to come crashing down very soon, or if they'll continue with this sort of slow, moody feel. Sometimes you just sense it coming the way the music builds, and I had a feeling what's going to happen within a second or two after I unpaused it. Interesting. Very cool there as they build into this big crescendo. Obviously, they threw in those huge riffs and then kind of went quiet again, but then quickly ramped back up. But you can hear the layers being added. You could hear the tempo increasing just so slightly in, I guess, what I'll call that third verse. And then it builds up to this very grand, very cacophonous almost. Although I'm not sure I love that word. It's the word that comes to mind because it makes it sound more chaotic than it really is. But in some ways, a little bit reminiscent of some of the ground trod upon by Sleep Token, where they go from the very quiet to the very loud. So similar in that sense, but it's not something new to the palette of Haken. So really, yeah, I'm digging this. I like the dynamic. It also puts me in mind a little bit of Tesseract at times, but Tesseract tends to be a little bit more mechanical, whereas these guys tend to feel a little bit more organic. I've not really thought about that too much before, so I have to think about that more. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I'm digging what Ray Hearn is doing because he can be just hitting the big beats as needed. And at the same time, he throws in a couple little random hits here and there that keeps things interesting and adds a little bit of flavor to it. As far as I'm concerned, Ray is a rather underappreciated drummer out there. I don't hear his name mentioned as often as I think he deserves. So I wanted to take a moment and note that. But right now, this is Haken being very Haken, but a little bit moodier, a little bit more mysterious than they typically are. I know at times they can be playful. This is more moody and mysterious.
Breathing through old skin, bleeding at the seams. I can't feel a thing. flame in a fever.
Whew, man, as the kids would say, fire. That was a nice, I guess we'll call it a breakdown. That was a cool little section there as we transitioned to the harsh vocals. So there's Ross expanding his own personal vocal palette. And he's not that he hasn't done it before. Usually what I've heard from that has been associated with his other band, Novena. Not so much with Haken, but I'm glad to hear him bring that in there. Very cool, very nicely done. And man, with some crushing riffs. And you get two different sections of that there, where there's a crushing riff with the harsh vocals, then you get another section with more crushing riffs. And you can hear in the background these like choral vocals almost. I'm almost certain they're probably layered all Ross, not a whole chorus or choir or whatever you want to say, but nicely done. I like that addition back there. It really gives some atmosphere to it. Again, we still get that mysterious and, ominous and moody overall feel, but they suddenly cranked it up from the more atmospheric and slow pace to just pummeling riffs and such. And I dig it. If there was any thought, as I said at the beginning of the video, does this mean they might be getting less metal? No, we can eliminate that as a possibility. More metal could be. Less metal, I think we can eliminate that as a possible direction they're going. More proggy, less proggy, remains to be seen, but still pretty damn proggy. I would say, if anything, this maybe adds a bit of a dimension of post-metal to their repertoire versus metal, because there's a certain post-metal quality to a lot of that. So, but I'm digging this so far. As usual, I'm really enjoying a Haken song.
Dancing with my shadow, the line is fading from my horizon. I chase the golden hour. Can you hear me scream through the silence?
That part was interesting because I don't know how well you'll be able to hear it, but for me, they took Ross's vocals from out here and very, I guess we'll call it environmental, very out in the world, very ambient and room filling, and brought them in much closer, less reverb, sound much more personal in the ears. So it's like he stepped forward and is singing more directly to you as opposed to singing to the room. It's kind of nice little note, the way they mix that. Really cool tune there. I really enjoyed that. This is a side of Haken that has not been in totally typical. Like I'm sitting there listening how expansive the sound is here, and I know they've usually tended to have. I don't know. I almost want to go back and listen and check because I don't always listen on headphones when I'm listening to it. But this one felt so much more expansive and atmospheric than a lot of their stuff I felt tended to be, whereas the other ones felt a little bit closer, more personal, but not quite so grand. There's just a grandiosity to this that is a bit different from what they've done in the past. And it's unusual for them to have this long, slow-paced song as they've done here. So I'm enjoying this. This is a very nice addition to their catalog. And when I contrast it to Nightingale that I brought up, which kind of had this little bit of jazz-inflected, hyperkinetic feel to it, and there's so much going on. And this one is very methodical, very much more slowly paced, and just big, bold, moody, dark. It feels like it's telling a big kind of grand movie in and of itself. So I really enjoyed that. It gives me a lot to look forward to with future Haken. And I have a feeling this is the kind of song that, while it may not necessarily be immediately catchy, like there's not a big hook to catch onto, which you often can get with a Haken song. It's one that will reward repeat listens. And as you get to know it better, those parts that grab you will grab you even more strongly. So that's my predicted thought. What do you folks think? Haken fans, what do you think? How excited are you with this new song? Are you encouraged? Are you discouraged with where you think this portends as far as the direction for the new album? Did you like what they're doing here? Did you feel like you want them to be doing something different? Do you dig what Brian Beller brought to the table there? I would say he maybe got almost a little bit lost in the mix for me when I think back to it. I might have to go back and listen and see how much more the bass line stands out or doesn't, because the chords that were big chords, and it could tend to get absorbed in there with the guitar. So it's actually curious. I'll have to go back and check it out. So, meanwhile, leave comments if you could. If you enjoyed this at all, hit the like button. If you want to check out some of my other stuff and make a decision to subscribe to the channel, that would be wonderful. Help us reach that magical 1,000 mark that we are very slowly crawling towards. If you want to take a moment and follow the link to the Bleeding Edge shop, see if there's anything there you enjoy, or if you just want to support the channel by buying me a cup of coffee, that's awesome too. Whatever floats your boat is cool with me. In the meantime, until next time, hang loose, never fear to deviate from the norm, and as always, keep it private.